Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Things That Matter with me, Martie McNabb. If you've been following along for a while, there's a few things that you've heard, and that is, I love hearing the stories of the things that matter, the things we surround ourselves, adorn ourselves with, the things we keep, the things that we inherit, the things that matter, and the things that we will leave behind when we are gone. So that's one thing you know. Another thing you know is that I am so lucky to have been introduced and welcomed and embraced in multiple communities. And you know, the end of life or the last responders community I've spoken of often. Also, the location indie community and also the Camp Indie you've heard of. I've had multiple guests on. Well, through the Camp Indie and the location indie thing, I connected with Vanessa Thorpe, who, along with Corey and I think it was
Joel.
Joel, ended up putting together this amazing conference that the one and only that I've been to, and I don't know about it, but it's called the Everything Conference. And it is for multi-potentialites. And I went there in August of 2024 to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I hosted a group event called Things That Matter, where I invited people to get into small groups, which I hadn't done before. So that was a wonderful experience to have it in a larger group as opposed to the smaller, more intimate ones. And that is how I met today's guest, Thomas Beutel. I
Hmm.
think it's Beutel.
Beutel.
And Beutel, and I am wearing a shirt today. For those of you on that are listening, it has a octopus on it because, needless to say, multi potentialites, and you've heard that here before because of Annie's session, who was also one of my guests, talked about how a lot of the people that were drawn there have multiple interests, and so they are the people I love talking. My thing is weirdos, where every individual remembers doing original stuff, right? Weirdos unite. Weirdos are wonderful. And these are a group of people that when you have a life coach or a business coach and they say, well, you've got to pick one thing, they say hell no. So I know that Thomas has multiple backgrounds, multiple interests, including I found out he did a beautiful print of an octopus, which I end up having to have after this conference, and it is in my home in Vermont. But without further ado, I am going to pass the stage over to Thomas for you know what, the show and tell section of this episode. So take it away, Thomas.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to this, to tell my story. So what I brought today for show and tell is this little HO scale boxcar. And this is a boxcar that I received as a gift from my parents, from my father, when I was 8 or 9 years old. And I've kept it for all these years, and it has a lot of meaning to me because, well, let me go through all the reasons that this particular boxcar has meaning. So first of all, my father started doing his model railroad when I was about 3 years old. So I grew up playing on his trains from when I was a little kid. Um, and and that is a big part of me. And I think when I was about 8 or 9, I started sort of bugging my dad and saying, "Hey, I want to have my own train as well, right?" And so this is the one he got me. Now his set was German. The company that makes this is called Marklin, and my dad grew up in Germany, and he was a fan of German railways, and that's what he ran on his trains. This actually is not a German car. This is an Italian. This is a model of an Italian boxcar. And I actually don't know the story why he got me an Italian boxcar instead of a German one. Maybe he just wanted me to have something a little different. That's what I figure. But over the years, um, I, as a kid and as a young, as a teenager or whatever, I spent a lot of time tinkering on his model railroad. And that tinkering is what led me to become an engineer, to become an electrical engineer, actually. So this has had a big impact on my life because it became a part of who I am, really. It became a part of my work. I worked in Silicon Valley for a number of years uh, as a hardware engineer, and eventually I became a software engineer. But it's all tinkering. It all goes back to working on that model railroad and connecting the wires and making things go. Um, and so that's why it's such a big part of who I am. The other part, of course, is it's a direct connection with my dad. We still talk every um, Wednesday and Sunday, and we often talk about trains. He's always asking me, how's my train going? I subsequently have built my own railroad. It's American prototype, and it takes about half the garage. Um, the main line is about 150 feet long, so it's a pretty big set, and I've been working on it since about 1996. So it's coming up on 30 years or so. Um, I also love miniatures. I mentioned the tinkering already. All of that sort of creativity that came out of working on my dad's model railroad has become working on art, working on uh, electronics, um, and so yeah, it's just a big part of who I am, and I'm really grateful that I still have this. It took me a while to find it; it was packed away in boxes, uh, but I did find it in time for our little show and tell today.
Oh, wonderful. Oh my God, Thomas. And I'm glad. One of the things that I've had other guests talk about is how they had the thing that mattered was packed away.
Hmm.
Um, a woman who had an amazing diamond engagement ring that survived Bergen-Belsen, uh,
Hmm.
had, of course, put it in a safety deposit box, but all of a sudden she was just like, but I want to remember my grandmother. I want to remember history, the history of the Jewish people, all of
Yeah.
this kind of thing. And so I need to wear it. And so
Hmm.
my encouraging her to be a guest and all of that made her think I'm going to wear this every day.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yes. So I hope that now that we've had this episode, maybe because it's small, maybe you won't pack it away. Maybe you'll put it on a shelf somewhere.
Well, actually, I will tell you this. Um, I built I built a an assemblage for it actually, and I have that here as well. I don't know if you can see it here,
Oh,
but one of my favorite types of art is a box assemblage.
oh,
After an artist named Joseph Cornell, who lived in New York in the 30s and 40s. And
oh, wow.
I did a project with some fellow multi-potentialites, and we said, what would a box assemblage look like if we represented our own multi-potentiality in it? And so a part of it
Yeah.
is I have a track here, and it goes in here. It's kind of hard to do reverse here.
Yes. You
Let's see
did
if I can.
very well, Thomas. You did very well.
Yeah, let's
So
see.
it's
It,
interesting that you say that because it's to me, I would call that a shadow box, but obviously it's a
they are shadow boxes. Assemblages are shadow boxes.
that's
The
amazing.
assemblage part is taking just
Oh,
random
look at
different things.
It's rolling on the track,
Yes.
even. That's great.
That's why it's a little hard to hold this anyway.
So
So
amazing that it has a home and
it
not
has
in
a
a
home now.
box.
Correct.
That's wonderful. That is so great. And I love
Yeah.
that this connection with your dad and the idea of tinkering and being creative. And somebody recently was talking about, the connection between, science and art and math and art and stuff like that. And it's like if we go far enough back,
Hmm.
most of the famous artists were also scientists and mathematicians or mathematicians. I mean, it's just in our culture, what we've been doing is training people to go to work.
Yeah.
But instead of like this has always been a connection, the engineer, the artist.
Hmm.
It's always been. I was just at a film festival for a friend of mine. It was the Modern Elder Academy in Santa Fe, their second annual film festival. So this is people in their their 50s, 60s and above, with their new film shorts and all of that kind of stuff. And my friend Sky Bergman, who's I think has two or three films out already. One's Lives Well Lived. And
Hmm.
so she interviewed 40 people, 70 years old or older,
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
what a life well lived meant. Anyway, when
Yeah.
she was describing the process of making the film, she's also a musician, and which I didn't know yet.
Hmm.
I've known her for 5 years, but she talked about how music and the musicality of the what was she did a lot of her editing and figuring out how she wanted to flow and how she wanted to feel based on this rhythm or this musicality. And I was like, wow, because it showed in the film. I'm not a musician, but it showed in the film. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's just amazing. So anyway, my follow-up question, and people who have been following along on this podcast and YouTube channel also know it. And that is, what would you like to have happen with this thing when you are dead and gone?
I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that. What I would hope is that at least the story carries on, the story of me creating a life and a career out of tinkering on a train when I was a kid.
Huh,
That's the story that I want passed forward and told. It's not so much about the thing itself,
right,
right? Because this
right.
this one has a lot of meaning to me directly when I look at it, and I feel so grateful for what it represents. But it's really the thing that it represents, the thing that, it it
Absolutely.
it it's such a big part of my life.
So
And that's what I want to go forward.
yes, I mean, and again, people who've been following along know that it's not that I believe things matter. It's the stories that get attached to them that
Yeah.
often do, right? But where do you want that if it's not the thing, where do you want this? Who do you want to receive the story, or how are you going to pass on that story?
I think to my kid and just the friends around me.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely grateful that we're telling this tale, and it's going to be around for a while. I
yeah,
I'm assume,
yeah.
So yeah,
The story
just
is,
to
has been
keep people
recorded.
who know me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Hmm.
Wonderful. All right. So the next part of my episodes are always me inviting you. And I know with the multi-potentialites, it's really hard to focus on like a couple of things. I'm not expecting just one thing, but a couple of things that you would like my audience to know more about and how they can reach you. And I'm going to turn over the stage to you in just 1 minute, and you can take it away and share what a little bit more about yourself, how they can find you and connect with you, and because you do such important work in the world. So take it away.
Well, I I am close to retirement, and what I want to do when I retire, and this is something that I think all multi-potentialites feel is like I have like all these plans. I have all these ideas of what I want to do when I retire. I want to become a full-time artist. And so I actually have a website. I already have my artist website up. It's thomasbeutel.art. So visit that. You'll see all the different things that I make. As you mentioned, I like to do block prints. I like to do watercolors. I make dioramas. I work on miniatures. So that's that. I have a podcast called You and I Make a Thing. And that's where I invite artists to come on and we make something that both of us have never made before. It's so much fun, especially like for me, I like to try new things. And so I have a podcast that allows me to do that. And I am launching a new podcast with a friend, my friend Annie, called Wandering Weirdly. It's going to be at wanderingweirdly.com. And that launches in January. So hopefully by the time most people see this episode, that'll be launched. So check out Wandering Weirdly.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. I can't wait. So, and both of you have been on my podcast. So
That's right.
Annie was several months ago, and then now you will be in the new year, and I'm so thrilled to spread the word about, because you know what I said about the weirdos and the weirdly. I just love it. So
You know, Marty, we find each other and then we talk about all the things we want to do and what we do, and we get excited, and then we want to do other things and make new things. And that's where this came about, this new
yes,
podcast.
I can't wait to, and it's a podcast and YouTube channel as
It
well.
will be, yes.
It's both. So that's really cool. Well, I'll look forward to that. To
Thank you.
listening in to both of you, because you're both delightful and warm, and your smile radiates, and your warmth radiates from the moment I met you in Minneapolis. So yes, and that was amazing. Down to three things, like yay. And I'll have to take a look at your artwork, because like I said, I love my little octopus that is very brightly colored, and it stands out because
Oh, I'm glad.
yeah, I'm in my mom's basement, in a little, little fixed up area, finished area, but it's all, of course, it's Vermont, and it's a old thing, so it's all brown. Everything's like brown. So having this bright colored octopus is wonderful to look at.
There isn't anything more wonderful than to know that the art that you create brings other people's joy. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for that. It does. Absolutely. So anyway, thank you so much, Thomas, for sharing your story of a thing that matters to you. And thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Things That Matter with me, Martie McNabb. And again, as I always do, as I close out an episode, I encourage you to consider the things that you surround yourself with, the things that matter, and the things that you'll leave behind. And as Thomas mentioned, of course, and I've mentioned as well, it's not that these things matter, but they are kind of part of your personal museum. And when you do die, the people that you love who come into your space after you pass are going to be looking at all those things, and don't let them think, why did she have that broken pair of glasses up there? Or why did he do that? Take the opportunity now to tell your stories and ask others for the stories about the things that matter. So thanks again, Thomas.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks so much for having me.
A pleasure. Take good care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.